send people out into the world who can communicate as competent, critical thinkers.
I think it's a great atmosphere. I think there's something that gives people the space and the time to to find their way to kind of develop.
Brenau gives you a lot of opportunity to discover who you are.
There's a strong bond between the students, which I think is conducive for this particular learning atmosphere.
I think learning who you are as a person is the key to finding your way to an extraordinary life.
I also think that fun has got to be a part of the learning process. Students are encouraged to bring to us, examples of their work from their high school experiences in art class. I do a lot of portfolio reviews for scholarships for students who are entering here at Brenau.
Trying to get through the beginner stuff right now. I did a portfolio review, so I got a nice little scholarship for that one.
We look for whatever we can look for. So we evaluate the work as it is. We talk with her about her interest in being at a liberal arts college, a small one, and we're curious to know about her career interests. And then we assign certain scores for certain capacities in two-dimensional work, three-dimensional work, interest in being at a small liberal arts college, those kinds of things.
The all-girls thing scared me a lot, and I was really worried about that, and so I was like, I'm never going to come here, I'm never going to go to all-girls school. I didn't have any girlfriends. I was like, always with the guys. I drove up here one day, just like, I'll give it a try, I'll just look at the campus, drive around, and I absolutely fell in love with this place. It just felt like it's where I needed to be.
Extraordinary.
I'm an artist because I think I was kind of born that way. I think actually I didn't really have a choice. There wasn't any choice involved. It was something that I can't imagine doing anything else.
The art degree, if it's done well, if it includes the right components, it enables you to be elastic and apply yourself in a variety of ways.
I think it's a challenge though to kind of to embark on a visual arts career. It can be a really tough thing, and I think this particular environment here is actually really conducive for that.
There's much more specialization out there. So what you can hope for out of a four-year degree, particularly from a liberal arts college, is the ability to think. The ability to think your way around the problem.
I don't know, I feel like I'm prepared for that next step.
I've always been told that the liberal arts graduate is the person that the employer really wants to see and hire. And it's largely because they have that capacity for both left and right brain capabilities.
I have been out in the arts management field, working in both government-run museums and now a university gallery, and I thought it would be great to foster the growth of another young woman.
I like looking at their work when I'm in their class. Like, my watercolor teacher is a watercolorist, so it drives me a little bit more because I know that's her medium.
I think my sort of teaching philosophy, if I could find a way to articulate it, would be to find a way for the students to kind of become themselves as artists, and everybody has to sort of travel their own route.
We encourage our students to become as fully developed as they can.
You're not really forced into one particular direction or one particular school of thought.
You can certainly experiment with different media, with different forms, with different ways of expression.
I think I want students to kind of learn how to empower themselves, if that makes sense.
Someone might prefer to concentrate in drawing and painting, or sculpture and ceramics, printmaking and graphics.
In this particular assignment, I actually want them to kind of forget how to paint, actually.
Well, I have learned to think more critically about a lot of different things in art that I didn't really, you don't really learn that in high school, I suppose.
Yeah, we're actually making paintings without technique, just to kind of get over themselves and all their preconceptions about what painting should be like.
I would say that's one of the best things about Brenau, because it's a liberal arts college. All of the classes are the subjects and the things that you learn are very closely related. You really do learn how to think more critically and more conceptually, and how to, explore art and what is art.
Extraordinary.
Brenau really helps people go overseas, Spain, Italy, Greece, Yucatan, you name it. Japan, they're going to China, I think, soon. If you're taking a class with it, then they'll help pay for some of that trip, which is a great opportunity to do that too, be able to experience other cultures besides just ours.
I think the unique thing about our program is the preparation that they get in education, actually going out into the schools to observe and eventually to practice teach.
You get to go to each middle, elementary school and high, so you kind of get to feel out what you're getting yourself into, I guess.
They have to be prepared as both a studio artist and as an educator in the art education program. So essentially they're double majoring.
Being there and seeing how the kids actually are and how they misbehave, and I think that's good to be able to interact with them and see how they are, developmentally in the setting.
They're required to do 48 hours of observation and assistance.
So Brenau gives you the opportunity to go out in the real world and find those things.
Extraordinary.
My name is Tanya Cribb-Curran, and I'm the gallery director at Brenau University. I teach arts management majors, and I also schedule about 8 to 10 exhibits per year in our 3 gallery spaces.
I get to experience a lot of different things in the art program, and I work in the gallery and I absolutely fell in love with it.
When they come here, they can learn about the business side of art as well as focus on their own studies in art.
Like, I have an installation art class this semester, and that's not something that you would see commonly at a school.
Any art student would need to learn about preventative conservation. That's how to care for artwork, how to hang artwork, but they'd also learn about the business side, how they can market themselves, or how they can market a gallery, a commercial gallery, or a museum.
I'm kind of like a gallery assistant, and I work one-on-one with the gallery director, and she just kind of helps me, just kind of guides me and tells me like kind of what the art museum world is kind of all about.
They learn how to hang artwork, how high things should be placed for the proper viewing level. They learn about marketing tools, about managing public service announcements, both for radio, television, and newspaper, as well as designing postcards and flyers, and those types of things.
I really gain experience like hanging artwork and taking artwork down, and we go into offices and place pictures in people's offices, just kind of working with art.
I get to deal with a lot of different artists and their art, and I get a lot more opportunities because it's a smaller school.
I have one piece that's in the president's office that they purchased that's in the permanent collection now.
The permanent collection, which now numbers over about 1,500 works of art.
President Byrd was connected with the Leo Castelli galleries in New York, so there's a lot of pieces in our permanent collection that came from them.
We got some Andy Warhols in the summer, and I got to actually handle them and do condition reports on them.
If you go around campus, there's several famous pieces. We have Salvador Dali. I think there's a Picasso in the library. If you saw the show that's in the President's Gallery right now, there's prints from like Rauschenberg and Andy Warhol and several famous artists. So it's pretty cool to say that I'm in a collection with all of these famous people.
Extraordinary.
I think painting's kind of dangerous. You can kind of paint yourself into a corner, and you can kind of find out things about yourself that you don't want to find out. And dealing with paint is kind of like dealing with your life.
I think students are really encouraged to find who they are by the time they get out of Brenau.
And the synthesis of learning, of taking more than one thing and putting it together in a new way, which I think is ultimately the definition of creativity.
It's really exciting to watch from my perspective as a teacher.
We're hoping to send people out there who can be extraordinary in whichever area they choose, or whichever area chooses them. I think we all can admit to being in scenarios in our lives where we backed into something that was good, and maybe we can capitalize on it.
Extraordinary.